Hi, everybody. Welcome to the DRFBets race of the day for Wednesday, November 13th. We're going up to Woodbine in Canada. Race number 7 will be the race of the day. It's a maiden special weight for older horses going 6.5 furlongs on the synthetic track up there. We have a interesting field of 7 here with a couple of favorites who, while they look like the right horses, at least on paper, they might be a little bit vulnerable in here. We're going to take a look at this field right now, the 7 of them who there are a couple of first-time starters who are of at least mild interest. The two favorites, the number 2 In Memory of Floyd, was coming off an 84 Beyer performance on turf. If he can run a figure like that in this race, he is very likely going to win. And he's the morning line favorite. The second choice, Hip Hip Jorge, who was exiting the same race as In Memory of Floyd, and they finished close together in that spot. We'll see what happens with those two horses. I'm not, way against them in here. But I thought that there were maybe some other horses that we could look at. And here we're going to start with the horse down on the rail, number 1, Steel Wool. He's a horse who's clearly going to have to improve in this race. He is stepping up in class for his 4th lifetime start. I think if you go back to his career debut, that was on turf. You're going to see a short comment that, sort of suggests he had trouble in there. Not sure I really agree with it. He was off slowly, as is mentioned in the short comment. And then it says block stretch. He wasn't really blocked in the stretch. He was behind horses very briefly. I thought he was clear with plenty of time. He was only second best in that race. It's just worth noting that when they switched him to synthetic for a second start, he really did chase a very fast pace in that race. He got tired at the end after making a short lead. I thought he ran okay. What you have to reconcile with him is his most recent race where he got rained off the turf and just did not run at all with an 18 Beyer speed figure, getting very well beaten that day. He's not impossible in here at a big price. I think you want to keep an open mind with a horse like him. I'm just not sure that he's that good. And when you go to the pace projector for the race, maybe he can make the lead and maybe he can't. I'm not sure. I'm sure they'll be sending from the start here, but the 2 and the 3, the two favorites, they're going to be forward in this race. And I'm not sure that Steel Wool is going to be able to contend with those two horses and still be around at the end. We'll see. Let's talk about those two favorites right now, though. In Memory of Floyd is the 2. Hip Hip Jorge is the 3. And let's look at that, the replay of that race that they're coming out of a common race here on October 20th. This is a turf race going 7 furlongs for these two horses. They both got pretty good trips in this race. You're going to see as they come to the stretch. Hip Hip Jorge is on the outside. He's the gray. In Memory of Floyd right to his inside. And they just chased the pace the entire way. Hip Hip Jorge actually got ahead in front there in the stretch, but he can't get control of the race. He gets tired at the end and he gets out finished. In Memory of Floyd, to me, did he run the better race? I thought it was hard to say that he did, even though he's going to finish a couple of lengths in front of Hip Hip Jorge. We'll see what happens. In Memory of Floyd has now finished second in each of his last 4 races, 2 of them on turf, 2 of them on synthetic. He's got the right running style for this race. He's got a couple of the fastest figures, but he's not that reliable, and I'm not sure how short a price I would want to take on him. Hip Hip Jorge was beaten 4 straight times as the favorite at Gulfstream over the summer. Those were dirt races. The race we just watched was a turf race. I thought he ran okay in there. He is first time on a synthetic track now, first time in blinkers for Mark Casse. He makes sense in this race. Just another horse. I'm not sure how short a price I would want to take on him. I just want to talk about number 7 for 1 second here. That's number 7, Gray's Fable. He's a first-time starter for the great Roger Atfield. Some questions with this horse, considering he is now about to turn 5, and he has not made career start number 1 yet. This will be his career debut. There are some interesting works showing up on his work tab. It looks like he's got a couple of fast breezes in there. So maybe that suggests he has a little talent. He's just had issues getting to the races. Worth pointing out, Roger Atfield, very good with first-time starters overall, but with older 3 and up first-time starters over the past 5 years, he is 0 for 29. So he's had trouble winning with horses like this, but that horse is far from impossible in here. Let's take a look at one more replay here, number 6, Mucho Kova. And we are going back to his career debut here. This is back in August at Woodbine. It's a turf race going 7.5 furlongs. Mucho Kova ran pretty well in here. This is only his first start. There is a fast pace in front of him. And he got a pretty nice trip, I thought, into it. He saved a lot of ground. You saw him come clear there with a big hole to run through. in the stretch, but he ran and he was right there in contention, just got out finished at the end. I thought this was a good performance for Mucho Kova since that race. He hasn't run quite as well. In his second start, he showed a lot more speed. He was right up on the pace and contesting it with In Memory of Floyd, who is, of course, the money line favorite in this race. And Mucho Kova got tired in the stretch there and faded. And then in his last start, I thought he ran, pretty well. That was his first start on synthetic. It was also going long, a mile and a 16th, around 2 turns. It just felt to me like the kind of race where he didn't really want to go that far. He got tired at the end of the race. He settled for 4th, but I thought he ran okay in there. And that's going to bring us to my top pick for the race. I'm not way against the 2 favorites, the 2 and the 3. They make plenty of sense. I just didn't really want short prices on them. I'm going to try and beat them with Mucho Kova, who I thought his debut was good. He showed in his second start that he has enough speed to get forward if he has to be. And then in his last race, his first start on synthetic, I thought he ran okay. He's got to improve to beat the 2 favorites in here. I think that he can do it. And I just especially like him cutting back in distance for this. I think sprinting really for the first time in his life here out of a couple of okay efforts, I think it's really going to help this horse. He should get an okay trip from his outside draw in here as well. So I'm going to take him. He's 6-1 on the morning line. I think that's more than fair for him. And I just put him over the 2 favorites in here. I went 6-3, 2 and 7 in your Wednesday race of the day. It is Woodbine race number 7, and an approximate post time is 9:43 Eastern time. Good luck.